Happy April Fool's Day, and welcome back to another devlog. Today, I'm not going to be talking about Meat God, but I'm actually going to be talking about my new dungeon game I'm making. No name right now, but with Meat God, I got pretty far with blueprints, and I had a lot of systems set up, and a lot of them were kind of colliding. Mostly the save system, like I couldn't get items and all that to save in, and whole mess, just a real big mess I made. So I'm still working on it. I'm gonna try to find some extra help with that game particularly because I want to do one solo. I like working solo with artistic lead and everything like that, but I need to do a smaller scope game with simpler mechanics, which any mechanic in a game is going to be complex to some degree. Just something to throw out there for if anyone's new and listening. But the new game I have is, well, first off, Me God's not going anywhere. I'm still going to be working on it. I'm taking a little step back to get some fresher breath air. Wow, a breath of fresh air, and I'm going to come back to it, but for now, I want to focus on something new, something that's kind of more lightweight. I feel better on, and I'm loving how it's coming so far. So, while I was taking a little break, one game that I was playing a lot was Valheim, and I love survival games. I love the style of that game. I love the kind of Dark Souls mechanics with like rolling and you have to get better weapons. I love the combat and the way the enemies are. Some of them, oh, wow, some of the enemies piss me off, but it's a great game. There's some flaws that I would like to change, and that's one thing that kind of like was kept picking at the back of my head while playing it was what if I made a game that was a survival, what if I did this? And I did so much research about open world survival games and how to do like level sectioning, how to sequence, render. It was a mess. And Unreal Engine 5, it seemed to have a lot of procedural generation when it comes to like terrain and biomes on like something pre-made. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to actual procedural open world generation with like landscapes and stuff, it seems to struggle a little bit in that sense. That could just be the complexity of it is so far beyond me that I couldn't figure it out, and I like it. And I mean, like I really put in the research, and it was not light. However, one tutorial that kept coming on my YouTube recommendation was I'm going to link it in the description. It was a procedural dungeon generation tutorial and very well made, extremely like to the point. The entire process is shown, and it gives you complete room for your creative input. And as you can see in the footage, that's what I've been doing. I'm gonna have footage later on of how it starts with his tutorial, and then the difference with what I've been adding to it. You get to like the third video; they're relatively short for how good of a tutorial it is too. But I added some changes of my own, like the resource rotations. All the resources are preset where they're at, but I have changed the blueprints for them to be 50% spawn or not because I wanted them to be spread out instead of all compiled in the first couple of rooms. But I also added a random rotation to the z-axis, so now whenever they are in there, they're facing random directions. It feels random, and that's exactly what I want. I have set up a base player model and a small IK rig for him in Blender. However, I was thinking about I've been finding videos on how to import the Unreal Mannequins rig into Blender, use your own custom model, and do the same animations. But by the next devlog, I want to have an update on how I want to go about that because I like having my own system. I like having my own animations. I think it's fun to work on, and it's a good break from programming. Doing the art side of things and animation definitely takes time, but I think it's worth it. I like it. Um, so by the next devlog, hopefully I'll be touching up on that end. Or I have a document right now, kind of laying out what I have planned for the actual game itself. And the footage that you're seeing is going to just be of the first dungeon area. And I want it to be almost in like Valheim, where you have each area or kind of biome. It's like a level where you have to get the key from one, go to the very end, get all the weapons and resources that are exclusive to that area in order to beat the boss and move on. I want the same mechanic for my game. I want there to be the key system. You have to get resources and everything, and that's gonna be relatively easy to do with getting one dungeon set up. It's easy to do the same for the others, mostly style, and the enemies are gonna be the more diverse thing and recipes. So the dungeon system is pretty universal, and I have plans for I think 5 different types of dungeons right now, and I'm just trying to get systems set up so I can just full send that. Get ready for that. Um, so it's just been all systems work right now with a lot of white boxing. Went very heavy on white boxing, but it's so fun, and I love seeing how it's coming. The UVs aren't even there; they're terrible. It's just a big foundation to see like what it's gonna look like and feel like, and if I should kind of keep working on this. And definitely, it is. And here I am making a devlog about it. The first system that I want to get set up is a save system, because after I have the save system set up, I can go on to interaction, and hopefully with it already being made, any items or interactions, doors, stuff like that I do interact with, will already be have a system to just slap them in there and make them a savable, which is not going to be that simple, I know, with Meat God. But that's why I want to get the most complex one out of the way first, so I can do the interaction system easy. With interaction, I can bring in resource management, I can bring in combat, I can bring in crafting, and I want each of these rooms and dungeons to be pretty heavy with things. I want this to be a heavy set dungeon, so you have to take your time, make your way through. It's not going to be just a hack and slash make your way through. I really want it to be like a nomadic living style with maybe a possible cart base that you have where you can take it between dungeons. Because I want there to be resource management. I want there to be all these things that a survival has, but inside of these multiple world sized dungeons, just huge. So that's my vision for what I'm going for right now. I'm not doing anything with Meat God. It's on the back burner for right now. I need to get some more help on that. That one I'm willing to take in some work on that. But this one, this is just a fun solo project I'm going to be working on. Maybe 1 or 2 people to help, depending on what I need. Resources in the description. For I have a Patreon, which for right now, Patreon, it's just going to be for support. I'm not going to do any exclusive content since I don't have a base really of anything. Later on, that's probably going to change, but right now, everything you can find update wise is going to be on my Twitter. I'm always happy to see any feedback or response I post. It's really fun. It's really motivating. I'm extremely thankful. I have a Fiverr account too, that if you want any commissions done for, well, you can see the work I'm doing. It's more practice for me, and it helps me, gives me resources to keep modeling, keep doing this, and focus more on these things, and keep me on track. The You can never have too much practice, and that day when I get my first commission, it's I'm gonna put my heart into it. I'm really looking forward to y'all's response. See how this does, and I'm stoked. I can't wait. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all next time.